Welcome back to the Chanel. That was an interesting intro, Phoebe. Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I thought that we would do a video where we talk about what it's like to move to Los Angeles. I feel like a lot of people have the ambition to move here for multiple reasons. Potentially you want to be a content creator, a YouTuber, you want to be on TikTok, you want to be a actor, a musician, rapper, whatever it might be. And you are thinking, let me move to California. And I don't think that that is necessarily a bad idea. But there's just a multitude of things that you should know before you step foot in LA. That I wish I knew. The biggest misconception about LA is that everyone is disingenuous. There are so many people in LA, and there are obviously going to be people that are very fake, and they will use you because you have social media followers, or you're working with like a producer, whatever. There are going to be a bunch of people who will gravitate towards any person with any amount of success because they want to ride off of that. So you have this like vibe and demeanor that you are looking for infamy, or you are kind of falsifying yourself to put out this image of yourself that isn't really you. People are gonna sense that and they're gonna give you a false version of themselves back. It's just going to be this exchange of energy that is disingenuine on both sides. So you're never going to meet people who are real and normal. You're always kind of going to meet people that want something. You're going to meet people that are going to, they're selfish and they're going to use people to get ahead. Like, if that's the vibe that you put out, those are the people that you're going to attract into your life. And it's just going to be a circle of people that are just trying to step on other people to get ahead. And I feel like that's quite common in LA, that you have like these groups of people, these niches where they just want to, kind of cultivate like a group of people. Maybe they want to be famous on TikTok and do dances, whatever. Cool. I love that for you if it's your passion, but they're not super passionate about it. They just want to make money and be famous, and they don't really have like any vulnerability online or any qualities that really reach an audience that feels real. And so what you get is these like little niche groups of people. Those are the people that I tend to avoid. The thing is, it's never gonna last, is it? It's always gonna be like a temporary success because it's not you. It's never gonna fulfill you because you know that people don't like you for who you are. This video has spiraled into something that it's not meant. LA, yes, has a lot of theatrics. Hollywood is the home of movies and entertainment, and there are a lot of people that jump into that narrative very, very quickly because you get wrapped up in LA. I definitely, for the first few days, maybe the first few weeks even, was like really captivated by the idea that I lived in California, I lived in Los Angeles, I lived in Hollywood, and I could, go visit the Hollywood sign, and I wanted to see it, and I wanted to kind of like go to events that were hosted by movie things or like premieres or TikTok parties, and they're just not, it's nothing to go to. Like, it's not a place that you want to be if you are a normal person that just wants to kind of vibe and have a good time. Like, you're not going to have that there because everyone is like out for themselves. You will find that a lot in LA, that there are these like corners of the world where everyone is in it for themselves and everyone is using one another to get up. Like I said, it's very, very easy to avoid those people and to not have to deal with that when you get here. And it is simply by not falling victim to the like Hollywood pressures. I know that it's very easy to come here and be like, I want to be engrossed in this world of like TikTokers or YouTubers or like famous people, Twitch streamers or movie stars and their premieres and their this and their that, all these events. And you can get into those events and they are, they're good enough, but they're just very, that you're not going to build connections there that are going to fulfill you as a person. The one thing that I worried about when I first moved here, and I remember calling my mom and crying. Like, I was like, I made a huge mistake coming here. I've got no friends. I have no family. 16 in the middle of Miami. So, like, have I jumped too soon to go somewhere and I hadn't prepared myself correctly for where I'm moving to? And everything is so like lights, camera, action, glamorous, and I'm working a finance job. Like, was this a huge mistake? How do I make friends? How do I, integrate myself into the social scenes of LA? This is what it's like to live in America, or LA at least. There's helicopters, police helicopters just flying over. It is Sunday at 10:30 and there is a police helicopter circling my apartment, back and forth. I don't know what's happening. I actually saw a police chase my 5th day of being here. It was like 7 a.m. and I was walking down Wilshire Boulevard to get a coffee because I was jet lagged and I just kept waking up super, super early. And as I was walking down, there was like somebody had stolen a car and they were like weaving through traffic and police like all coming down the street. It was crazy. And it was like 7 a.m. on a Sunday. Like, it felt like GTA. Because it's like GTA. Things to note. You can make friends so easily. It is not making friends that is difficult. It's moving to any new place. You could move to a different town and you'd still have to go through the same process of building a routine for yourself. What time do you wake up? Where do you get your coffee? Where do you shop for groceries? Where do you buy books? Where do you buy clothes? Who are you friends with? What do you do on a Friday night, on a Saturday night? What do you do on a Sunday? Do you have a self-care routine? Where do you go to the gym? Where are you going to go and get your nails done, or like beauty treatments that you like to get? Like, I want to get my eyebrows threaded. Where am I going to do that? Like, you have to find these things. Whether you move 5,000 miles across the globe or you move 5 miles to another town, it's all the same. But I think that the fun in moving is that you have to build a life for yourself in a new place, in a new location. You can reinvent and restart every single time. And that's fun. I think that it's very easy to be like, I'm lonely. I have no friends. I have no family. You have nobody to rely on. You just have yourself. And that is actually, if you look at it from a different scope, that's a really beautiful thing because you connect with yourself and you get to decide what you really want. What do I want? Where do I want to go? What do I want to do on my weekends? I have all this free time. How do I interact with others? You get to learn more about yourself because you're throwing yourself in the deep end and you're saying, hey, okay, we live in this place now. I exist in this space. How do I exist in this space? And all of that is dependent on you and how you want to exist, essentially. You're no longer a product of your environment because your environment has changed. So now all of these excuses that you've made for yourself of being like, I exist in this certain way and I fall victim to my circumstances because I've always been in my hometown. Now you're not there anymore. There is no excuse for you to be a certain way that you don't want to be. The things that you don't like about yourself, they don't have to exist anymore. The things that you are because of your life experiences in your hometown, they no longer have to apply to you because you're in a different place. You don't have to carry them with you. You can leave them there. You can drop them off, leave them there. That's what I've been doing. It took me a really long time to realize that I wasn't doing that. I was existing in LA exactly the same as I existed back home in Litchfield. And why move so far to be the exact same version of myself? This version of myself doesn't have to be held and bound to the same confinements that I had in my small hometown that was very, like, old school, cobbled British town. You can only imagine in the Midlands, you can only imagine what that looked like. But I can be somebody here. Who am I going to be? And it's lonely because you have to spend so much time with yourself. When you realize that spending time with yourself is being in company and isn't lonesome at all because you're in your own company, your reality changes. The way that you perceive yourself changes. How valuable you think your time is will change. How valuable you think you are as a person changes because you enjoy your own time. You enjoy your solidarity. You enjoy having these deeper conversations with yourself. At the end of the day, the only person that you have for sure, and I said this in the weight loss video, is yourself. Nobody can do anything on your behalf. If you want things to change, if you want things to be different, if you want to grow and progress, the only person that can actually actively do that for you is yourself. So there's a lot of challenges to moving to another country. There will always be challenges of moving to another place, another country, another city, whatever it might be. But the fact that you're here is the biggest first step. And now everything that you do will be building on that foundation that you've made of just jumping off and going. The biggest regrets of your life will be the times that you held yourself back from experiences because you were afraid of what might be on the other side. That's the point. The point is that you're supposed to be evolving and becoming at all times. That's what life is. Life is what happens when you're busy making other plans. John Lennon said that, I think. So all of this middle section where you're lost and you're confused and you don't have any friends to rely on and you're learning how to find your feet, that is what the bulk of life is. That's what life is. Life is the finding yourself, finding your feet, finding your routine. It's not being in the routine. It's not being content. It's not, being successful. It's the building of all of those things. For me, what I did, because I was feeling kind of lonely and it's really important to me to have female friendship in my life, like very beautiful, enriching women. Womanhood is so important. It's vital. So when I moved here, that was one of the things that I was prioritizing. How I made friends in LA was pretty simple. I scavenged the internet for groups for women who are recently moved here or feeling lonely, don't have many friends, those kinds of things. People in my same circumstance who want to make friends. So LA Girls Who Walk is where I met my friends, which is this handle right here. I saw it on Instagram. I looked at multiple different sites and I saw that they had a cocktail, like happy hour drinks for girls to show up to. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to show up. The worst thing that happens is I leave early because I don't like anybody. But the thing is, I liked a lot of the girls that went there and I had a really good time just being able to meet with a bunch of girls. I think 40 people came to that happy hour. I got up and we had drinks, and you just get to know people. We had name badges, so you could sit with people, just whoever you clicked with. I clicked with quite a few of the girls, but I have two friends. You can go to these events, meet people, and keep meeting them, but if you're not making any effort to maintain a friendship with them, then it's just not going to happen. People in LA are very, very busy. People in LA have like a lot of work, but if you want to meet people that are just very normal, just like yourself, you need to put yourself out there on these things. You need to just turn up and just show up for yourself. You know that that's one of the only ways that you can make friends. I mean, you can go to bars alone, but as a woman, I think it's a little bit difficult to just like show up to a bar alone, besides the fact that I think that you will, more so than anything else, just get hit on. And I mean, if that's what you're looking for, if you're looking for romantic partners, you can do that. That's fine. When I moved to LA, I had Tinder and I had Hinge and I went on a few dates. The fact is, I actually met somebody on Tinder that I'm now in a relationship with, which is a shock because that's not what I was using Tinder for. You know, let's be completely real. I'm a woman with needs. So I didn't want anything serious, which is why I kept Tinder. But I met somebody that I am falling in love with. Falling in love with. So, and I met them on Tinder, which is crazy to me, but that's how life works. God works in mysterious ways, and we don't question his timeline. This is what he had planned for me, to meet this guy on Tinder, and that's okay. As long as I have him, it's fine. But dating in LA is an interesting place to be. As you've probably heard on a previous video, I have had some unfortunate dates. I had a date with a man who had a knife in his pocket the whole brunch and had multiple guns. I had a date with a guy that told me that he took Adderall for ADHD and then told me after our date that he'd actually snorted a line of coke before seeing me. So yeah, I'm gonna be honest, LA dating scene. I mean, dating anywhere, it's tough. It's a tough life, isn't it, right? If you want to date somebody that is genuine and is good, you're gonna have to do some searching. It's like thrifting. Dating in LA is like going to the Goodwill bins. You gotta dig. You gotta dig through some shit. You gotta sort through some shit before you find something good. That is the best analogy that I can give you for dating in LA because it is absolutely awful, but that's okay. I would recommend dating apps. There is nothing wrong with being on a dating app. I don't know why we have tried to like put this narrative out there that it's somehow sad to meet via a dating app. Our entire lives are now on social media. Our entire lives are spent on our phones, on our laptops, on some form of technology. We are so like withdrawn from reality. Our presence is not felt very often in public spaces because we're too busy with our headphones in and we're too busy listening to an audiobook or a podcast or watching a video or listening to music or blah blah blah. Like, we're just not present enough in public spaces anymore to be able to meet people as organically, because everything that you do day to day, when you see shows like Sex and the City and they bump into each other at the grocery store, it's because they've not got headphones in, babe. You can't meet somebody at Ralph's if you've got your headphones in listening to a crime podcast. You're not going to hear the guy that's talking to you. Actually, the guy that would have talked to you, he's probably also listening to an audiobook or a podcast or something of that nature, or music, because we're so like out of touch with reality now that we go into ourselves. Even when we're in public spaces, it's like you do not need this secondary source to be constantly in your brain. I think that we have become so attached to overconsumption that we feel like we're wasting time when we're not consuming something. We have to have music, we have to have content, we have to have a story to go out and do things in our life. You're going to the grocery store if it makes you feel better, if you have like maybe you get overstimulated in busy places. Cool, I understand that. But if you are single and you want to meet somebody organically, you're not going to be able to have much luck with that if you have constantly got AirPods in. People are not going to approach you because they can see that you are not present. There's no point in them approaching you or asking you on a date or doing anything because they know that you're not paying attention. Nobody's going to approach you if you are closed off. You know, you have to open yourself up to the idea that you can meet somebody organically, and by doing that, you need to disconnect from your phone. No AirPods. Don't be scrolling through your phone. You want to go to the grocery store, look cute, get dressed up, wear a nice dress. Don't take any secondary thing. Don't take a device. Put your phone in your bag. Keep your AirPods at home. Exist. Be present. You know, go for a walk, go to a park, sit with a book, something where people can connect to you because you're not connected to your phone. If that's what you want, if you don't want to use dating apps. Personally, I use dating apps and I think I've been pretty successful. So it depends on how you view it. I met somebody on Tinder, which is controversial because it's Tinder, but I don't care. It is a dating app at the end of the day. It's just an app that you use. Yes, you're going to find a lot of people that just want something fun. But if you meet somebody that is actually meant for you, whether they're looking for fun or a short-term relationship, it all is going to change if that person is right for you and you connect. It's just going to work and it's going to be long-term naturally anyway. People always say they want short-term fun, you know, but that's not necessarily what it can turn into more. Also, the people that you think are having want long-term relationship and they're like, I'm looking to marry, those guys can also kind of fuck you over and it be short term. So let's not like get too, wrapped up in what men say they want at this point in their life, because we know that they lie. The men that want short-term relationships, they either say outright they want a short-term relationship and they don't have much success, and then they say they want a long-term relationship because they realize that saying they want a short-term relationship is not going to work out for them. Nobody wants to swipe on them. And then they start telling you that they want a long-term relationship in order to kind of hook you in, and then they just fuck off anyway. So make your choice, choose your fighter. But at the end of the day, if a man wants you, he wants you, point blank, period. Regardless if he's like, yeah, I wanted a short-term relationship. If you're the one, he ain't going nowhere. Men are simple creatures. If he likes you, he ain't going nowhere. Dating sucks everywhere. Dating will suck in your hometown the same way it will suck in LA. You just have more people in LA. You have more people to choose from. They have a bit, like I said, very diverse audience. So you've got more types of people with different jobs that maybe you've never even heard of before, performers, etc. Just because a man is in a band doesn't mean he's A, successful, or B, any good. That's what I've learned in LA. Also, there is almost like a delay in maturity here. Like, I went on a date with a 35-year-old man that was literally had the personality of a 17-year-old boy. It was crazy. So a man is a man, a boy is a boy at any age. You can see somebody driving down the street in a Bugatti Veyron, like a really like $2 million car. And you can also see it, the street is like lined with unhomed people who don't have a lot, and it is such a contrast that it's like night and day here. So there are areas that are more densely populated with unhomed people, like Skid Row, the further downtown you go. But generally, in most areas, like mid-city, Hollywood, you will have Santa Monica, Venice. Like, there are a lot of unhomed people, or people who are struggling with drug addiction, or people who are struggling with mental health. And they're generally good people, harmless, you know, they aren't in your business, so just don't be in theirs, obviously. Last point, and the most important point, if you are moving to LA, you need a car. You need a car, you need a driving license. It is impossible to get from Santa Monica to Silver Lake for under $50 one way in an Uber. It is you can't walk. If you live in mid-city and you want to walk to Hollywood, you are going to spend an hour walking and then an hour walking back. It is impossible. Just get a car. In this first run of me being here for the first 3 months, I have not had a car. I'm going home back to the UK for a few months, and then I'm coming back. And let me tell you, I will have a car. I will have a car. I thought because I was only going to be here for 3 months as a trial, coming back fully next year, that I would try it without a car, and I have walked as far as I possibly can. It isolates you. You need a car. Either you need a car or you need thousands of dollars per month for Ubers. You want to go to a restaurant that's 20 minutes away, you're spending $25 on an Uber, $25 back. It is expensive. Every single time you get in an Uber, if you are wanting to go more than 5 miles away, you are spending upwards of $20 per trip. One way. It is so expensive. Public transport here is not great. I don't really like the idea of getting on the metro, or the bus systems. They just aren't the safest place for a single traveler, especially if you're a woman. So I would recommend getting a car or traveling here with a buddy that you can get on public transport with. If I live in mid-city, and if I wanted to go to Santa Monica Beach by myself, I would have to take the bus. And at no point have I ever looked at the bus when it comes in and felt like I would be safe on there. Now, I think that they are trying to up security on buses and public transport. That would be wonderful. That would be great. But a lot of people say it's sketchy. It is. So much so that I haven't even attempted to get on, because I'm not trying to die. I'm not trying to get touched up. I'm not trying to get attacked. So do with that information what you will. It is very, very expensive. Yes, the pricing of things is expensive. It's expensive all across America. It is expensive all across Europe right now. Like, the UK is expensive. Like, London, living in London is super expensive too. That's what happens when you live in a capital city or a highly populated city. The US is huge. New York is expensive, so LA will be expensive. It's just how these things work. So my recommendation, if you are moving here, move with a good amount of money in your pocket. I deeply recommend a car. I deeply recommend making genuine connections. I deeply recommend using dating apps if you want to go on dates here. It's fine, it'll work out. You might go on some bad dates, I know I sure did, but you will meet nice people too. Disconnect if you are trying to meet someone organically here. People need to see that you are not in your own head or, absent-minded. They need to know that you are present so that they can, initiate a conversation if that's what you want. If you want something to progress organically, meet someone organically, that's the way to go. People can be fake here, but there are good people here, good everyday hardworking people here that you are going to meet and make genuine connections with. Do not think that LA is this fake, horrible place. It does bring those types of people, but it is not full of those types of people. It is good. There is so much good here. It is a beautiful place to live. I highly recommend it. Be smart, be safe. And if you are really wanting to move here, let me tell you, just do it. Even if it fails, just do it to say that you did. You will never regret trying and failing more than you will regret never trying and never knowing how it would have gone. So just jump. Every single time I will say this to you, just jump, just go for it, just try. You might fly, you might fall, it doesn't, there's never a way to know, but that is what life is. Life is about finding out. Life is fuck around and find out. You gotta fuck around to find out. And frankly, there's no better thing to be doing. It will fulfill you. Trying is living. You know, if you don't change anything in your life, if you don't, you know, just give it a go, you're never going to know how good it's going to get. So if your ambition is to move to LA or to just move to a bigger city in general or get out of your hometown, I'm telling you right now, just do it.